these were things that they placed in front of Jesus to show their worshiping him, their love for him, their worship and their value, the high value of these gifts. They presented them. The word presented is prospero. It's talking about offering something generously, to be willing and to offer it. It's why we give presents at Christmas. It's really to commemorate this moment, the fact that we worship Jesus by giving gifts. We present things willingly. The word gifts is doron. It's talking about an offering that requires sacrifice. I think it's important to understand the sacrifice that would have been made with these three items. These were the most three sought-after items. They would have required sacrifice from anyone, not just from a wealthy king, but from anyone. But the contrast is still made between Herod and the wise men, because Herod also made a sacrifice, but it was a sick sacrifice. He was willing to sacrifice not something that he owned, not something that was his, but he was so filled with hate and he was so filled with anger, he was so filled with jealousy and rage that he seeks to sacrifice anything in his way, anyone in his way. And in verse number 12, it tells us that God warned these wise men to depart into their country another way. And in verse 13, the angel of the Lord appeared again unto Joseph, like we studied last week, but this time he said, "Arise and take the young child and his mother to flee into Egypt." They would not have had the money to flee into Egypt had these gifts not had been given to them. And so the reason they were fleeing is because at the end of verse 13, Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. The word destroy doesn't just mean to destroy his character or his reputation. It means to kill him. And so in verse 16 through 18, we see the horrific nature of Herod's sacrificial mockery. He felt mocked, and so he was going to be revengeful. He was going to take his revenge out on the people of Bethlehem. And when he felt mocked, the word mocked is made fun of, embarrassed, ridiculed. He was exceeding wroth, which means he was so upset that his anger and his rage was more and more, to the point that verse 16 says that he slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old to under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men when they came and brought him these words to say, "We're coming to worship this baby." He said, "Well, I'll take care of this baby. I'll kill all the babies in Bethlehem." And that was prophesied by Jeremiah. And in verse 18, it says there's a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and would not be comforted. Why? Because the children were killed. The children were rooted out of their homes and murdered by this man who was filled with rage. What brings someone to that point? It's pride. What brings someone to that point is a sense of anger and injustice that causes them to do something that is horrific in nature. And the contrast is with these wise men who humbled themselves. They were not looking to prove something about their own worth. They were looking to express the worth that they found in King Jesus. And humility in the soul of true worship is the soul of true worship.